I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. And bear with me for a second. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. And we're going to do that. Okay. We got that. And we've got what do we have? What do we have? Sorry. Why don't we start the show here today? I just saw some massive charge go through a credit card, and must have been some auto reorder thing. So it just came through like 2 minutes ago, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? Whoa, is what I'm saying. What just happened? And that was large. That was large and unnecessary. But I'm ready to attack here tonight, you guys. I hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend. Happy post-Father's Day to everybody out there. I'm going to take a step back from recognizing everybody's birthdays and Father's Days and all those other days. That's a lot of content that's put out there, and I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon. But I know I take the time, the due diligence, what makes me different. Right on everybody's birthday. Try to shout them out. Then you have a birthday and nobody shouts it out. So I'm not saying I'm bitter. I just recognize what a lot of these fucking fakers are all about. How about that? How about that for a start? Also, there's a faker out there on Twitter right now. This guy's such a little bitch. If it wasn't going to start treat people how you want to be treated, bitch. That's all. And you're the king bitch of all of them. Okay. There's the start to the show. How about that? We got all that out of the way. Holy cow. Speaking of out of the way, what a glorious Saturday live stream we had out there. What a UFC card. I gotta say, man, there's no reason to keep it a secret. You guys can let everybody know out there, man. It's, we put the work in, and I'll tell you, this whole dedication that we have to combat sports, we love it. You know, we practice it. Well, we don't practice it, but some of us might. But we practice what we preach, and that we dig in. We spend a lot of time working on it. And I'll tell you, it's made me a better UFC better. PFL better. Just get the bankroll, though, man. Holy cow. Usman, decision, plus 550. Was never a question for me that was going to be the fire bomb. Now, Miranda Maverick blew it. But we caught some 750s, 850s, 950s, 1000s on top of it. It's been a good couple of UFC shows. We got another one coming up on Saturday. Saturday early, as a matter of fact. I think they pop off around like noon. Our time, East Coast. So get ready. We'll have the playbook updated, as you know. The first installment of the UFC has been blasted out there this afternoon. Ramon Scott, VB MMA Picks, went out there, went to work, did their thing with their guests, busted down 3 fights for this card, all trying to help you guys find winning tickets. So make sure you check it out. Get out there, put a view on that. Put your eyeballs on that thing and let's get a view there. Also, like I said, we'll have the UFC playbook out and ready to roll. Our guy, Kevin Carrier, blast off on Friday night. His second fight for us. The first one got canceled. The reschedule. Bad last 30 seconds. He took the L. So 0-1 wearing the sports money logo. We expect more. And I think he'll do a great job here this Friday night. So we'll be on location. Going to try to do some media stuff there. See, we can't get some things moving to give you guys some fun content. And sports bets, of course. That's the key to this whole thing. And speaking of fun content, we're going live tonight. The NBA Finals. I told you guys last week, there's a focus on these live streams because we're going to be in the dog days of summer soon. So at that point, we want to make sure that we get all the money-making opportunities on the table to stack it up high, let it fly, and then we're going to be watching baseball, betting golf, NASCAR, F1. I might draw the line at F1. I don't know. It doesn't entice it. The timing is weird. The plays are weird. Double podiums and shit like that. The McLaren guys. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll do some NASCAR betting. That being said, though, we do have what should be the final week of the NBA, the final week of the NHL. Florida Panthers stomped on them Edmonton Oilers up there in Edmonton. I expect we zigzag. I think they go down to Florida. I think they stomp in Florida for Game 7 to go back to Edmonton. I'm not so sure. We'll talk about this NBA Finals spot tonight. Final. It's Game 5. It's far from final here, but we'll have potentially 3 more games left. Potentially. Jay-Z already blew $1 million. He thought OKC was going to win 4-1. That didn't happen. The series is tied at 2. Great live betting on that last game. Minus 120 at halftime. Came through there and cleaned up on some of those spots out there. Live betting is absolutely where it's at. That's why it's so much fun to have these live betting shows. Because we get stacking. We get cracking. We make the bookies take the pimp slapping. How about that? On the fly for you guys. Phillies, Miami, Colorado Rockies, Washington Nationals, the Baltimore Orioles, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Red Sox and the Mariners, the Fathers and the Dodgers. Maybe you heard Shohei Ohtani will be an opener today. Not a full go, just an opener. And we'll talk the NBA Finals. I've got a prop or 2 and a straight play as well. I do want to take a second to talk about chillin' and grillin'. That's our contest that will finish on Wednesday. Wednesday will be the 10th day of the contest. I think I screwed up on the dates out there. All that prepping. I didn't realize Wednesday is the 18th. So Wednesday is the last day of the contest. That is a 10-day contest period. And for what it's worth, I want to point this out here because the leaderboard continues to change again. I think every single day this past 5, we've had a leaderboard change. Parma Jake has taken the top spot, sitting on top, looking to get that barbecue from sports money. But I want to point out that a couple of you, and I have to update this still today, but here's what you want to look for. If you're looking at this, and there's some lazies out there. I'm just going to call it how I see it. Some of you guys don't follow the rules. You don't follow the instructions. Just do whatever the fuck you want to do. And that's fine until somebody comes around and flags you and doesn't tag you and doesn't get you paid on a contest. But that being said, I did make several notes. If you see a blank space, right? See a blank space. Now you could just say, hey, I'm fucking off on this contest. I'm done with it. That's fine. But for the most part, I don't believe that's the case for you guys. And I got to update it for today. But regardless of what you see over here, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, B, if there's nothing for your name and B, you got to go back and look and see where did it fall off? Where did we miss the pick? Which spot did we miss the pick? Now, some of you guys quit right off the gate. Most of you guys rolled it right through up until like Saturday. So keep your eyes on that. Go back and check it out. I don't want to award somebody the winner when maybe somebody else missed a pick on day 3. That's when we started having some of those problems with YouTube. That's why I asked you guys to screenshot. Not for fucking fun, not to exercise and waste your time. Need a screenshot. You'll see the screenshot. If I don't see it and I didn't give it a thumbs up, I can't record it. So help me help you. Look, we're adults. This isn't fucking Rainbow Land. You want to get paid, you gotta make sure you manage yourself. Be your own best advocate. That's the best thing I can recommend to anybody, anytime, across the board. So check this out. Go in there for day 8. Today is day 8. We have 3 days left. Anybody's in the game here. Textiles was 620. Yeah, he's 260 back, but hey, he wins. Parma Jake loses. He's within striking distance to have this thing come down to day 10. I think it is going to come down to day 10. It'll be that final day of movement on that Wednesday, which is going to have afternoon baseball and evening baseball. So get ready. Be your own best advocates out there to winning money, getting paid. And don't be fucking lazy. God damn. Hit the thumbs up button. If you don't see something next to your name, screenshot it. Send it to me. Or don't. And take a 0. 6 and 1/2 dozen the other to me. I want to see somebody get paid, though. We're having a good time with it. I'm going to build a list after the fact of all of these RBIs that have been cashing, all these players, so that you guys have a short list of players to potentially cash with post-contest. As we get into the dog days of summer, we're going to want to put some money down on some spots. Spots. I think we went 3 and 2 yesterday on premium plays out there for Sunday action. The blow was Sunday night. Now, Kyle Harrison, I even put this on the FanDuel tweet. I said, I'm normally an action pitcher. We talked about this last week. I said, but man, Kyle Harrison getting traded 15 minutes before the Dodgers San Francisco game started just hurt everything. It hurt my Teoscar Hernandez spot. I had some unders. It was just like, really, dude, last minute like that? That's NBA shit. You're not the NBA, are you? Don't do that stuff out there. But whatever. It is what it is. We fire and we live to spend another day. So let's get to work, you guys. You know the deal. We're in show. It's time for the thumbs up. Post show is time for the comments up there. Let's keep growing this thing, man. Our voice is getting loud. We're getting recognized across YouTube. I got a comment the other day. Congratulations. You got almost 50,000 views in the last 28 days, which is unbelievable. Thanks to you guys, all part of that stuff here. So let's go. Let's let them know. Sports money ain't fucking around. We're here to make some money. We're here to smack some bookies. We're here to let everyone know when they get out of line here, and we're going to keep everybody in line and get this cashing going. So smash that thumbs up button and we'll get to work. Okay. Time to get the pen and paper out, boys and girls. We got the best damn chat in the universe here, assembled, sharing their bets. We've been recognizing you guys for the last 2 years, building this thing, developing our chops, figuring out how to address the board. And they are just now starting to recognize cash flow splits and how to leverage the market trends. They're just starting to leverage their communities and their chat out there. They are way behind what we're doing out here. We are light years ahead, and it's going to continue to grow. Our bankrolls are showing the benefit from it. Get that paper out. Write these plays down. Put your best bets out there. I want to talk about them. I want to keep this thing moving. Going to be a quick show because I got a little something I got to run in between this show and the live stream. So let's go. Let's get her moving. Gorky in the house. Popping us off with the first comment. You go right back to it. This is OKC Moneyline. Looking for a little Moneyline action with OKC. To end my Botafogo. Is that the one? Is it a soccer play? Not sure. Botafogo? I'm not sure. Not sure what that means. But you can see it on the screen. If somebody else knows, go get it. Let's go, Gorky. There's our guy, Jover. Got to spend some time with Jover on Saturday. He's rocking the Phillies and Marlins game over 8.5. Ballsy. Jover likes his overs. Daryl Jones. Crew best bet. Look, college action for Gerald Jones. UCLA and LSU under 9.5. Look at that. Shout out to Robert McCormick, Nicholas Handy, Bo Jackson, Joe Dub, the Futon Bets. You know, it's important to recognize that Nerfy action because there is a Nerfy boost out there on a couple of the public sites. A little Nerfy action from our guy, Futon Bets. Shut the DJ Harden says, hit the like, scumbags. Bo Jackson likes the Blue Jays tomorrow. If you can parlay it. There's a little insight. Data Dub says, sup, guys. Kelly V. Last 40 seconds is right, Kelly V. We're going to look to rally this week. We're going to try to rally. Markel says, SDA, I'm in triple-double, plus 4,300. It's going to bed. Stop Geoengineering. Kelly V like Seattle -1. AOD looking at the Oilers, it sounds like. Sounds like he's looking at the Oilers. Stop Geo says, give it out on another show. Ohtani, 1 strikeout, 1 home run, 1 stolen base, plus 4. That's a fun one to root for. That'd be a fun one. DJ Harry says, I think need to hit some plus 300s to win. Dana Delp says, Philly rolls. Gorky likes Florida tomorrow. Tarek B says, ban the Dodgers. Saved me yesterday, live bet it twice. Shout out to all you guys, man. Look at you guys ready to roll. Okay, Gorky says, OKC tonight. Dana Delp says, sports money is money. AOD says, sports money network forever. Check it out. David Wall says, DK profit boost. Yep. I saw it. 50%. I'll take a whack at it. White Boy likes the OKC play tonight. Truth Teller's in the house. Truth Teller. Appreciate you, my guy. Says, yes, soccer, Truth Teller. Don't fall victim for somebody ghosting us in another chat. You know we will never go into another chat and just start blasting out what's going on. We keep it to ourselves. Don't even pay attention to those other chats. The Futon Bets. Lugansk Dort. First basket. Let's go. Jerry Davis, I like Wood tonight. DJ Hardy says soccer game's on now. I got a soccer game for you guys. You want to get a little soccer action impromptu here? How about Panama? Panama versus Guadalupe. Let's take the over. We get that over at. Over 2.5. I used a draw breaker yesterday. I didn't realize you have to use it on soccer again. Like, fuck, I dropped a bomb on it. And I was like, I'll just try to see if I can't get this plus money. It didn't come through. I got the refill, or the rebet, I guess, the bonus bet. I'm going to put it on the over 2.5 for Panama versus Guadalupe. Tona Epps. Locksmith. Let's pick those winners. Gorky. Going live tomorrow for hockey is the question, huh? Maybe. We'll see what our guy Sharpie's got going on. Shout out to Gonzo. Kelly V says, how about Ohtani over 2.5 Ks first inning? Sprinkle $5. Why not? Not a bad play. Peter Gracia, like New York Yankees to bounce back. Seattle, OKC. All right. There's our guy Station Play 211. What's up? What's up, my dude? Kelly V says, everyone says under Tampa Bay, but total 9 over. Let's move to 8.5. Shout out to Barry. What's up, Barry? All right, let's get her going. Let's get her moving. We got to get grooving here. Phillies and the Marlins. Tough slate. Mondays are a travel day, so we got a little bit of a maybe fatigue factor for some of these teams that are on their second road trips. We've got some teams that came off of some big sweeps last weekend. We got some conference games. We got a small card, which means the books are going to scrub the shit out of these numbers, and they're going to be tight. I think you're going to want to be looking at potentially fading on some public plays. We got some reverse line movement in this Phillies game. This thing opened up at plus 106 for the Marlins. It's down to minus 103 on the Marlins. Total at 8.5. There were some 9s. Has come down 94% of the bets, 92% of the cash on the over. And what do we know about Abel and Alcantara? Alcantara. 7.14 ERA for Sandy. And then Abel, overall performance here. Let's talk about recency format here, if you will. First of all, recent format. Mick Abel got busted up. He was in a get busted up spot. We talked about how the book suggested he was going to get busted up. Mind you this, no shortcuts for Mick Abel. They developed him properly. They didn't rush him coming up to the show. They got a pretty decent staff. I mean, they were leading the MLB in top 5 players out there with sub 2 ERAs. I mean, listen, they're not rushing this kid up. He just had a slip up. Maybe it was inevitable. Maybe it was because it's those Cubs and they're one of the best bats in Major League Baseball. Got hit 6 times. He gave up 3 home runs, 3 earned runs. That was it. He walked 3. He had 3 Ks. So the question is, can he come back and fire in form? On the other side of things, Sandy Alcantara comes into this one. And Sandy, back-to-back 6 innings. Sandy started this season like shit. No doubt. I mean, he was barely getting to 5s. He was getting hit. He was pitching to a ton of contact. He wasn't getting Ks. Back-to-back last 2 starts. He played against Colorado. That was at home, though. He lost 3-2. He goes to Pittsburgh. He wins 3-2. I think Sandy's got a little bit of that effect that, we see with Skeens. Just get shit for run support. Now his last start, like I said, he gave up 3 hits, 6 Ks, no earned runs. So is he back in form? I think there's a reason why we're seeing 8.5s and not 9s on this game. As I was digging into this thing here, though, Miami just sweeps the Nationals. Miami's coming back after a long back-to-back road series. What do we talk about? You want to fade the team going on the road versus the team that just had 6 or more road games coming back home. That's step 1. Phillies fired. They swept the Toronto Blue Jays. By the way, if you're looking at this line and thinking this is kind of funky, every one of those Phillies-Toronto lines was funky. They swept them 8-0. They beat them 3-2. They fired back 11-4, and boom, they go on the road. They knocked down Chicago that last game of the series 7-2 as well. Historically, for Major League Baseball, there's a big trend that we have to factor in here and something you have to write down. Aside from just, we want to fade the Marlins in the first game of the series, right? That's a given. We know the Marlins, especially the Marlins at home, just not a spot you want to be at with these boys for whatever reason. And I think the reason is, when we talked about this before, Tampa Bay develops pitchers really well. Miami develops batters really well. Now, I don't know, Sandy Alcantara fucking crawled from under a rock, I guess. But at the end of the day, the point and emphasis there is when you're starting in a series, you're putting your 1 versus their 1. Your 1's just not good enough. And that's why the Marlins continue to struggle. That being said, fading the Marlins game 1, 142-76. That is a 2-1 in a series opening factor right out there. You're the road favorite with the better pitcher. You're 185 and 106. Phillies series openers on a Monday against the division, 13-2. You're thinking this line looks funny. Minus 111 for the Phils. What's going on? I think they're going out public to look at this thing and go, are you kidding me? We just saw the Marlins sweep. The Marlins are hot. Marlins are not hot. If I fall into the trap on this one, I'll eat it. I'll own it. I'll have no choice. But I took the Phillies. Give me the money line with the Phils, minus 111s. I like the Phillies in the under in a parlay. If you guys are looking for a shot out of a cannon parlay, Phillies and under. I'll talk about, I don't want to give them all away, but the first 2 legs are Phillies and under. Phillies and under in that spot out there. I'm just not buying in Alcantara. You know what? Maybe he comes back. Maybe he starts to figure it out. The trend I wanted to give you guys to think about, though. Road chalk, long homestand, following a victory. They won, long homestand. They're going on the road as a favorite. 80% of the time, that's cashing. Team is a road favorite in the 8.5 to 9 range versus a conference opponent after a home win and a 6-game homestand. 17-4. Write that down. 8.5 to 9. Road favorite. Conference opponent after a home win and a 6-game homestand. When you get going on the road, everyone's feeling good. Things get flowing. Everyone's loose. The juice is moving. Everyone's having a good... They're side betting each other. Rolling dice on the fucking bus on the way to the game. That's what happens in these spots out there. And when they're feeling free and clear, They're smacking that ball and they're cooking the Christmas goose. So we're going to take that Philadelphia Phillies spot to kick this game off. We'll roll on. Game number 2. See what you guys have to say. Dana Delp says Turner ribeye plus 180. Kelly V says bad teams lose game 1. White Boy says the Miami overtrend at home should show up, but to who wins by 2? Phillies do. And there is reverse. There is reverse on that for what it said. The truth says hammered the Padres plus 1.5 and the Pacers plus 9.5. Okay. Colorado's another team lost Mondays, but both Colorado and Washington are bad teams, says Kelly V for this tee up on this next game. The Rockies opened up at plus 160, and nobody wanted any part of this road dog. 84% of the bets and 82% of the cash betting on them Nats, and the line has dropped. First of all, you should not be taking the Nationals as a minus 190. Let's just put that out there as Exhibit A. Then you look at this total. Everyone thought the over. This morning, it was 9.5 at one book. I bet the under right away. I was like, fuck that. Nats aren't scoring like that. Are you kidding me? And the wind's blowing in. And you got the Rockies, who just smoked the Braves, by the way. 90% of the bets, 82% of the cash on the over. It's coming down. She's coming down. Now, I got to eat what I say a little bit, because I talked about Palmquist being that stepped-on piece of dog poo-poo that you have to scrape out with a toothpick because it got stuck in the bottom of your fucking traction on your shoes, right? 7.77 ERA. Yikes with this dude. On the other side of things, though, they got Jake Irvin pitching for the Nationals, and that's where trouble begins. Jake Irvin is not a $2 favorite. He's not. Overall, yeah, I mean, first of all, the advantage that the Rockies have in this game is that nobody's seen Palmquist over there on the Nats, and he's not pitching at Coors. You just caught a big win for this road team. We talked about the leaving Coors factor. They lost that first game 12-4. They lost 4-1. They come back and fire, and the Nats are struggling right now. Why are they a $2 fit? Somebody must know something. I don't know who that somebody is, but you are out of your fucking mind to be dropping $2. What are you going to do? Minus 1.5 on the Nationals to break even? That's a losing formula. We talk about it. You got to find some of these bad teams that are going to find that 60% win ratio. Now, Palmquist on the road, he's bad. He's bad at home. He's bad on the road. However, he's getting better. He's still only going 4 innings. But he gave up 5 earned runs May 16th. He gave up 6 earned runs May 21st. Then a little light switch moment. He plays the Cubs. He gives up 2. He plays the Mets. He gives up 4. He plays the Giants at home at Coors. He gives up 2. Now he's rolling into ice cold city, Washington Nationals. That's a problem. And then you want to look at Uncle Jake on the other side of this thing. Well, Uncle Jake just gave up 2 home runs, only 4 Ks. And, from an overall perspective, this guy's been just pitching to contact. I mean, he had his max. He had his San Fran game. He went 8 innings. He only got 3 hits. He comes back after that. 5 innings, 10 hits. 5 innings, 8 hits. 5 innings, 5 hits. You're going to put $2 really on the Nationals? Really? Look, I mentioned Palmquist and his 2-run start. Irving's been struggling. They just got swept in the Nationals. The unders are a pretty strong look in this spot out there. We got an intersecting 0 spot to this total. This is why I fired on the total right away. 9-0 to the under for the Nats when they're at home. If they gave up less than 3 defensive double plays and their bullpen allowed a run, they're going under by almost 4 runs a game. Their offense is not producing. They're 9-0 to the under their last 9 games against lefties. And they're going under by 3.7 runs a game in those spots. It's the Rockies who have an alarming team total here. They're 8-0 to the under. Road game if they allowed less than 4 runs the previous game. In other words, as bad as the Rockies are, they can pick up a couple wins and sneak you. And the average total they're seeing is 5.7. So, that being said, I looked at this thing and I said, well, I like the under. I took that earlier this morning. But I can catch a plus 150 right now. The old flag and fuck the bookie on this one. The Nats are 0-6 as a favorite, going all the way back to May 9th. They haven't shown anything that says they should be a favorite in this position. We're going to fade away on them. We're going to take a big price tag. I gave you the Phillies and the under. I would parlay the Rockies and the under with that one. How about that? For a little 4-leg action. And I'll round it out by the time I get to the card here. But next game on the list. Actually, there's one more I snuck in here in between. I don't have a graphic for it. So I'll just do this. I'm just going to do this. Yankees and Red Sox. One of the premier matchups in all of sports. Yankees just got beat up, busted up by the Boston Red Sox, and now they're coming back home. They were minus 210. They're minus 190s, 89% of the bets, 92% of the cash. 92% of the bets on the over, 90% of the cash. The 8.5 is getting juiced to the under. Soriano and Clark took a big Schmidt. Lots of love for the under. At first, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get on this under. Yankee spot. Everything shows when they come back after taking an AL East beating and they're coming back home for that first game, they tune them up. They also got shut out 2-0. So we got to give some credence to that shutout factor. The Yankees, after a shutout, are winning like 90% of the time. It's absurd. The Angels, on the other hand, have lost themselves 3 straight games. They just played the Baltimore O's, who have now traveling out to Seattle. We'll talk about that game in a second. They got shut out 2-0. They lost 6-5. They lost 11-2. The spot for me, when it comes down to it, I want to be involved in this first 5 under. I want to shut this game down. We'll talk about the next game that I'm going to take the full tilt on, but this game I want to shrink to the first 5 because that Angels bullpen is just so damn awful. They're terrible. They're terrible, horrible. Get them out of there. Recent performances as well. You know, I don't want to put too much credence in. I'm not a big Clark Schmidt fan, so there's not a lot of excitement for me with this guy when it comes to getting involved with him as a pitcher. I mean, the problem that these guys have is their whip. 1.24 and 1.5. That's walks and hits per innings pitched, if you're not sure. The difference here, Clark Schmidt just might have finally figured something out. 6 innings pitched his last game. He only gave up 2 hits. He had 7 strikeouts against that Kansas City Royals team. Now, Kansas City's been in flux, so, you know, I get it. But look, 4 of his last 5 starts for Clark Schmidt. He's found himself pitching into the 6th inning. So I'm going to follow this guy up. I'm going to expect him to come through early for us. The challenge for me is Soriano. And, you know, 3.19 ERA. He's another guy that maybe he just figured something out. He went 6 innings, 4 innings, 6 innings, 3 innings. He just had a 7. And we're getting to that point of the season where maybe he had 12 strikeouts his last game. Played phenomenal. I'll take a shot here with some wind blowing in the Bronx. A little cooler temps. 60 or so degrees out there. At least for the first 5. We'll keep this thing under. We'll see a lower scoring game. Not mad at anybody that wants to play the full game under. And I do like the Yankees. I just gonna move on from that spot there and jump into this Baltimore and Tampa Bay game. Another AL East battle. Kelly V says Irvin's a pitch to contact guy. Textiles in the house. What's up, Textiles? Nasty Nate says was a great game. Gorky, I'm not sure who he's asking that to. Kelly D says Soriano over walks too. Okay, so maybe that's what he's asking. Why not play I don't want to play the Yankees team total over because their bats have been cold right now. And you know, I've talked about when the Rangers play the Flyers. You want to fade both those teams after that because it's just a physically grueling series. You're playing your division rival. I think that carries over in other sports. I'm not on because I want an under, Gorky. I think the game goes under. I think these guys just having played lights out defensive ball without being able to score. I don't want to back their bats to score. I think to me that, you know, you look at the pitching's been fine. The bats have not. And Stanton's supposed to be back tonight too. I think I read Giancarlo Stanton's supposed to come back here. But they scored 4 runs in 3 games against the Red Sox. They scored 1 run against Kansas City the game before that. Doesn't instill confidence. And I'm looking at these pitchers and I'm thinking they're in. If there's a spot that I look at for that game that says buy mode, I want to buy on these pitchers. So that being said, to Kelly V says he's back. Yeah, I like to fade the team when the star players come back anyways. It's disruption in the order. Someone's got to go from 3 to 4 so they can stick him in at 3. All those other reasons mentioned there. I like the first 5. But I just want in and out. I don't want to mess with the bullpen. And yeah, the Angels bullpen's bad, but it goes back to not wanting to bet on the Yankees bats. Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Still got plenty of baseball games to go here. I thought we were going to be ripping right through this card, but I got off on the wrong foot. A couple guys chirped me this weekend, and I'm chapped. Baltimore Orioles, Tampa Bay Rays. An AL East battle out there. Minus 126 on Tampa Bay's moved down to minus 110. 64% of the bets, 48% of the cash on the Rays. The total from 9 has come down to 8.5. Red flag. 90% of the bets, 87% of the cash on the over. Now they are pitching in batter-friendly George Steinbrenner Stadium down there as Tampa gets their season redone, as their stadium's redone. Pepio and Eflin will be the starters when it comes to these two teams. And the book might be out on Pepio. I'm just saying. When you look at his recent performance. Now, the Rays did just win 9-0. They swept the Mets. I was saying this weekend was strange. Bunch of sweeps. I think Tampa's got to be exhausted. They just played at Boston. They just played at the Mets. Oh, by the way, 6+ games on the road, coming back home. You want to fade those teams. And the Orioles, how much competition do they have with the Angels in that bad bullpen? That's my starting point with this game. That was what I thought when I first looked at recent form. Then when you want to drill it back a little bit, we can talk a little Pepio factor in here. As I was looking at Pepio and what he's done as of late, he let me down that last game. Not his, Phillies are up 1-0. Boom. Boom. Right off the gate. 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs and a homer. I was on the under. He did get 9 strikeouts, so I'll give him that. But very much a win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Just can't get any footing and timing down with this guy. So for all of those aforementioned reasons, remember I talked about pitchers moving in bunches. 6 innings pitched, 7 innings pitched, 6.2 innings pitched, 6 innings pitched, 5.2 innings pitched. Still into the 6th inning, but that was where they left him in just a little too long. And he got busted up there in that 6th inning and couldn't close it out. So, do we see the regression for Pepio? That's the big question that I was looking at with this game. And honestly, I do think we do. I do think we do. That's terrible English right there. Whoa. First and foremost, when the Rays come off a beatdown, they allowed 5 hits or less. They're 11-0 to the under. Pepio just came off his career or season high 9 strikeouts. So you got a team that's showing under in this Rays Mets because they just nuked the Mets, right? By the way, all you Mets backers. Tampa Bay 0-8 in Pepio's last 8 starts when he's coming off of a big one where he got 7 or more strikeouts. So a lower scoring game that doesn't win behind the starting pitching. Wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to get involved in the first 5 with this Baltimore game. I took them full game. I like me some full game Baltimore O's. Reasonable price tag. I mean, it's come down a bit from where it was this morning, but just recent number, recent market. Yeah, I'm good with that. We're seeing the movement in the direction that we want as well with that sharper bettors coming in on Baltimore. I like those fade trends on Tampa Bay. Team coming back home after 6 grueling battles between the Mets and the Red Sox. So that's a play on. That's a play on for me. We got one last game, 2 games, I guess, still in baseball. I don't know how I screwed that up. I added one in there is what happened. Added one in there. Boston, the Sox. The Sox. Nasty Nate parked his car and went and saw the Sox yesterday. Looked like fun. Yeah. Just bad text. Ah, this day. If ever I've earned a cocktail, it's today. All right, so I was looking at the Sox in this spot here, and the question is, do they smash? Tricky. Because when you look at what we've got going on, the bump, it's Lucas Giolito. We'll never forgive him for Patriots Day. However, on the other side of things here, what do we have going? Well, we got Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert hasn't started a game since coming off the IL. Back on April 25th, he goes on the IL. April 25th. Generally, we see these guys shit to bed their first comeback. Generally. Now, not all the time, but we saw McClure. We got it documented this year. 3-4 times we've seen it pop where these guys come back from the IL. That first game, what are they doing? They're watching pitches. They're looking for injury tendencies. They're not looking at the scoreboard and trying to win the game. So, yeah, I do think the Sox can smash. I'm going to take a lower scoring game. You got Boston that's coming and traveling all the way from playing the Yankees in that big series. We saw they're playing some defensive ball. A lot of moving parts, right, with the Devers trade. Devers trade? I'll never get it right. I don't care. Fortunately, I'm not going to say it again because he's not playing there. He's gone. And with that being said, Bregman, another factor in this injured lineup for this Boston Red Sox team. So we got two big bats out of this Boston Red Sox lineup. We got to bank on the fact that Gilbert, they know what they're doing by putting him in there. He's got a 2.37 ERA, just 18 hits and 30.1 innings pitched. So if he's on, he's on. Giolito did come off a good start. Did come off a buy mode. 3 hits, 1 run, 6 innings worked. That's the key. We want to see these guys get into some deep waters. Now let's talk about the actual official plays. I got a double dipper. I took the under. We do have the Red Sox 9-0 to the under after a home game against their division if they got walked fewer than 4 times. The average total in those games, 4.4 runs. They set this at a 7. Is there a coincidence? How many times have we seen it where the numbers validate because we see a low total and that scares people, but then you see a 4.4 in the SDQL information and you're like, wait a minute. I guess I see why now the books are setting their numbers this way. Logan Gilbert on the other side of things. Here's where I thought we could trust this guy a little bit. 17-0 to the under when he's home, lined less than a plus 185. If he had a pitch count of less than 101 pitches the last time he played this team. A little bit of speculation that he knows how to study tape against the Boston Red Sox. Plus, you're going to take some bats out. Plus, you got the Red Sox in that travel spot. Plus, you got him just playing that big Yankee situation. The average total in those Logan Gilbert games, 5. 5 runs out there. So we got 2 spots. We got a 5 and a 4.4. Does tell me that this, I'm going to take that under 7. I'm going to sweat it. Under 7s always make me sweat. But the big bomb with the Sox. How do you say it? Sox. Say it. I'll practice it tonight. Boston in the under 8 for all the aforementioned reasons. I'm going to take that 7 up to an 8, and it makes it a plus 275. So, like, if we see a 4-3 game and we push this Boston under, but Boston wins, we're still going to be cooking almost 3 units. So I feel really good about this position. I thought it was a really good double dipper. And that would be the 3rd spot of the parlay combo action. Although the Phillies has already started. And the Nats in Colorado has as well. One last baseball game. We got an NBA game I'll talk about. I got, like I said, 2 props. I got an itchy nose. I got a bunch of BS text messages. Okay, let's get this done. Let's get this right. San Diego Padres, Los Angeles Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani's opening up this game. A starter, not a primary. What is he going to go, 1 inning? They kind of moved his start time up too, by the way. I don't think he was supposed to start till like after the All-Star break. And they said, nope, he's going to start now. 78% of the bets, 82% of the cash on this Dodgers team. Cheapest you're going to find the Dodgers in an Ohtani start. That might be a fact. Not a lot of movement. 8.5s have moved to 9s on the total. 94% of the bets, 94% of the cash on this over. And we know we got Ohtani. And we know we've got, well, some movement, some moving parts. Well, I guess the big thing really is Dylan Cease on the other side. To me, that's kind of where I was looking at this thing and saying, all right, what are we going to see from Dylan Cease? And good pitcher. I don't know. I mean, he's got a 4.28 ERA. He's got a 1.3 whip. So he's putting ducks on the pond. Does scare me when you're playing a prolific offense like this Dodgers team. However, he's not really showing signs of vulnerability. He's actually showing fire. He gave up a bunch of runs, a 3 earned, a 3 earned, a 3 earned, a 3 earned. He just played the Dodgers. He went 7. He got no one. He's not scared of these Dodgers. That was a big win for them to get that 11-1. So the way I approached it, give me the 1 inning with Ohtani. And I don't think he's going to get touched. We'll take Dylan Cease. It looks like he knows the playbook on this Dodgers team. And we'll take a 4.5. We'll take the under. I like the Padres to win, by the way. I'm going to lean on the Padres to win. See what you guys have. Peterson's accent's getting better. Yeah, Blake, on a that's another reason. Another reason why I want to get involved with it. If you're looking at the pitch count, you're not looking at the scoreboard, just like we talked about previously with Logan Gilbert. So, Mitch Morber says, Seattle cashed to Yurfie 5 straight against the Sox. See, Nate says, call whatever you want now. I'm not worried about this fucking guy anymore. I'll be in Seattle. He'll be mired in mediocrity in Seattle. Or I'm sorry, in San Francisco. Last game I got for you guys. Last game on the docket. Now, I did put out an Instagram play of the day. Get the IG juices flowing. Try to put one out there every day. Got fucked last night. Teoscar Hernandez. Fuck job. But we're going to rally. We're going to get this thing moving. It takes 21 days to create a habit. So we'll see where we're at after 21 days of taking time every day to find a specific player prop that I really like. And tonight, I really like the player prop that I put out there. So you got to go check it out. Won't cost nothing. Only take you a second. Sports Money Network at Instagram. Go out there and subscribe if you haven't done so already. 36 deep already, you guys. 36 deep in 1 week's time. 36 subs deep. So appreciate you guys that have taken the time to subscribe over there. But as we look at this one, always tough to get involved in 7-game series, right? Because you got to start to kind of, I mean, it's, at some point you're just redundant with what you're talking about here. I think the big key for me in this game, Miles Turner, can he or does he not get himself into foul trouble? He's on the road. It's a little strike against him. And why is that important? Because, the Rockies, bang, bang, pow, pow. Let's go. Let's have a night. Guy gets himself in foul trouble. He's the rebound guy out there. So if you're rebounding against 7'1" Chet Holmgren and you're in rebound trouble, you're fucked. Now, believe there's something to be said for the psychology of the zigzag. I don't mean win one, lose one. I mean, we've seen OKC play some tremendous defense, specifically in the second half of some of these games. And that last game was great. Got them at minus 120 at halftime. I'm not laying 9.5. I'll find a way to live bet this game on a side. I'm going to tell you that right now. 67% of the bets, 62% of the cash are on the 9.5 with the Pacers. They're taking the points. I don't think that's a terribly stupid look. This line opened up at 223.5. It's moved to 224.5. There are some 224s out there. 84% of the bets, 85% of the cash. Now, that's the way I opted to attack this game. I'm looking to take the over. I know. I get it. Sharp respected betting action kind of feels like the NHL to me. They're looking at this one thinking, yeah, we're going to see some over action. Now, game 2 went over. That was the zigzag. Remember? They lost game 1 after leading by 15 at halftime. They come back, they fire on game 2. They absolutely shut down them Pacers, but the game went over. The total comes down 226. Game 3 stays under. Game 4 should have probably gone over. Unfortunately, that fourth quarter collapse let that to an under. They scored 17 points, I think, in that fourth quarter. So we're playing at OKC where we've seen an over. We saw the Thunder put up 123 points in that over, which means we just need the Pacers to do the 100 spot, which we've seen them comfortably get to for us. On the road as a dog after a loss, the Pacers are an over team. This is where I think the psychology of the zigzag comes into play. You're tired of playing defensive, grind them, gritty, hold them down. You're just going to say, fuck it, let's go out there and get everybody wet, splashing threes from all over the perimeter. Let's get points. Let's run. Let's tire this team out. Let's exhaust them. And it's not just a premonition. They're going over by 13.2 points a game in those positions. Road, dog, awful loss. Playbook goes out the window. They're no longer in the process of trying to D up against Chet Holmgren. Let him fucking run rampant. Get your guy Miles Turner in there shooting some points out there so he's not in that foul trouble because he's trying to rebound against a 7-foot tree. And you go out there and you put some points on the board. And I think both sides can easily get some points on the board here. I don't want to mess with the total. I will mess with with the side. I will mess with the total. That was kind of a cliffhanger. I'm going to take the over. I like what I'm seeing from the Pacers. I think if the Pacers have any shot to win this game, they better get this thing going over. Pacers win, it's an over. Now, I'm not saying the Pacers win this game, but they certainly don't want to be down 3-2 heading back home in this series out there. So playbook goes out the window. Boys start scoring some points. And this game probably cruises over this number. I mean, we've seen some good. I'll tell you what, I would potentially consider if we can get 240 at halftime, I would consider the under. I know it's a 16-point, middle that we've created in that position out there, but I could see the first half flying over the number. And then every other game we've seen in the series, that second half condenses, collapses, and we start seeing it become a tighter affair. Especially come fourth quarter, but I think that's a good look. I think overall, check out that Instagram play of the day. I really like that one. I think that's a really sharp. It's a plus 130 look out there as well. So it ain't no joke. It's real money to be had in this thing. And I think there's one more player prop that I like here. Let me just double check my notes. Bear with me while I take a peek at my notes and see if there was that one more. Oh, it was Miles Turner. I like the Miles Turner over rebounds. It's at 4.5. I mean, on all, he's averaged 8 or more in the regular season against the OKC squad. It's that foul trouble that's been hurting him, and he's matched up against, he's matched up against a fucking tree. But the over 4.5 for this guy, shopping around, sitting around minus 120s or so, depending on the book that you're looking at out there. But I really like the player prop play of the day. And I'll tell you, it's not SGA. It's not SGA. Can't say that enough. Shout out to all you guys checking us out here. Appreciate everybody spending the time here tonight. We're going to get some money. We're going to have some live stream fun. We're going to pop off around 8:15 p.m. Shout out to Nasty Nate. Shout out to Sandra. Sandra's in the house. What's up, Sandra? Haven't seen you up in here prior. Broke the phone at work. Oh no, Bo Jackson. Worried about the Oilers and the Thunder at this point. OKC separates themselves from the Pacers tonight. Derek Davis cashed the 2 Yerfies on the card already. Kelly V says Irvin no good is what we talked about out there with all you guys. Kelly McInnes in the house. What's up, Kelly McInnes? Bo Jackson says Pacers have a record of 4-3 against the Northwest Division in the regular season. Yikes. Justin McCalvy's looking at the assist numbers. Bo Jackson says the Thunder have a 6-1 record against the Central. Let's go. That's going to do it. How about that? We'll put the bow on the show. Shout out to Ignatius Pennyfeather the 7th. He's going to be our final comment here of the day. Gilbert over 6.5 strikeouts. Boston 10 Ks the last 9 on the road. 14 Ks over 9. That's going to do it, you guys. We'll see you back here at 8:15. Get yourselves ready. Get set. We're going to go have ourselves a lot of fun here as we watch game number 5 in the NBA. We're going to live bet and will our plays to cashing and starting this week off big. Make sure you do check out that Instagram play of the day. Give it a check. Give it a join over there at Instagram. It's free. I'm putting one up every single day. 21 days to create a habit. We're 7 deep. We got 14 more to go. Shout out to everybody that's involved in the RBI contest. 3 more days. Today, Tuesday, Wednesday, it'll be done. We'll tally it all up. We'll let you know on Thursday who the big winner is. And that's it. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, good luck with what you do.